Hey Sanjay. Hey Sanjay. Okay, let me. Hey Sanjay.
I said, you're promoting me as a panelist now.
Yes, this is our I think the third week that we're having it. So there's not many people coming now. So
I've invited another friend of mine. Hopefully,
yeah,
he joins from the US.
please get them here.
His name is Prakash Raj, and he's into the travel industry as well. And he's also very much interested in the crypto.
Fantastic.
Yeah, Prakash. So hopefully, he comes on board.
Okay. We'll give everybody a little more time as well. Let's see whoever comes. I mean,
Sure, no problem.
so what else is new?
Well, waiting for this lockdown to get over.
So they're now India, I think, still has banned flights, no commercial flight, but people are doing, travel agents are going and they're going and booking flights. I had a friend who came by SpiceJet from India. SpiceJet, they're booking the flight, and SpiceJet is bringing the people here.
Yeah. There are a lot of charters which has already happened. Indigo, SpiceJet, all these airlines have done the charters. Commercially, also people are actually, you always become creative when you're put against the wall, right?
Yes.
So people are coming via Belgrade, and people are coming via Mexico. People are coming via maybe Muscat, Turkey. A lot of things have happened in the recent past. But unfortunately, the policies keep changing there as well. I think the Belgrade government saw that everybody's coming and just staying overnight and then doing the PCR test and going away. They put a ban saying that now you need a minimum one week quarantine in Belgrade.
No, that's good. No, so now they also have to, if they do that, they will also have to. It's good for their economy as well, no?
That's the whole thing. That's what they suddenly realized, that everything is now coming in. People are staying in the hotel, spending money. Then why only
Mexico?
For 48
I think
hours?
Mexico also should do it. Mexico also, they're allowing people to leave in one day.
Correct.
And I don't know, in one day are they really getting the test? I'm not sure.
Well, the third country policy is different, right? Their objective, they already do a PCR anyway.
Okay.
Otherwise, they can't board the international flights coming, because most of the people are either flying Air France via Paris or Frankfurt and then coming to Mexico.
Okay.
So those airlines won't board them unless they have a PCR test done at the boarding station in India.
What is PCR again?
The PCR test, what they do, right, for COVID.
Okay.
I don't know the full form of it. I can give that to you, but antigen PCR test is required now before you travel.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So how many of them are currently registered for this event? Not this event, but overall, I'm talking about.
Overall, we've already met our target. So we are, through private placement, we already, got our. So we were hoping to raise 1.5 million in the, private placement. That was our soft, cap. So we're already at 2 million for our soft cap. So we're actually, ahead of the target. So we're right now, our as I was telling you, we're changing our plans a little bit. I'll share something. So let's say, okay, there's some people joined right now. Okay, oh, there's Mahindra is here as well. Yeah. Hi Mahindra. Let me just, we'll just promote you to panelist, and there's somebody else here as well. I'll just promote you. So Laura, Mahindra, welcome.
Okay, you can see me?
I can see you, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Laura, so if you want to. Okay, there's Laura, would you want to, I can promote you to panelist. If you want to join in as panelist, you can, free to, yes. Okay, so there you go. So we've got. I was just saying that we've been doing this is the third week we doing this. So there's probably a little fatigue, and people are, less people are joining. And this is kind of very early in India as well. So let me just get started, and as we go along, we can ask questions as well. So welcome everybody, and as more people join in, I'll get them in. Welcome Mahendra, Sanjay, Laura. Um, I will start with a little introduction about myself. My name is Vijay Thomas. I'm a co-founder at FOHO Coin, and FOHO Coin. I'll give you a little bit of the history about FOHO. I run a software company called Tangentia. We're headquartered in Toronto, Canada, and I've been running this company for around 17 years. We're a digital transformation company, artificial intelligence, robotic process automation, a lot of stuff around B2B e-commerce. If those of you live in Ontario will remember in 2015, when Kathleen Wynne announced there'll be beer in grocery stores for Christmas, she made that announcement in November. So only 6 weeks to Christmas. And they went out and the LCBO was tasked with putting together a whole supply chain for Ontario. And they went to Deloitte, they went to IBM, they went to all the companies and said, can you do this? And everybody said, cannot be done. It takes 6 months to a year to do something like that. Only one company was stupid or brave enough to go and say, yes, we can do it. And that was Tangentia. And I was the guy who went and actually said that. So that's one of our claim to fame. And we've been doing this for almost 17 years. And recently we've done a bunch of other things. I also run a venture capital company called Tangentia Ventures. Now, Tangentia Ventures invests in different companies, especially in the India-Canada corridor. And out of that, in 2019, we started a fractional home ownership company in India, in Goa, called FOHO. FOHO standing for Fractional Ownership Homes. So FOHO was an acronym for Fractional Ownership Homes. Basically, in Canada or in some parts of the US, you can actually buy a fractional cottage, a fractional home. You go to Muskoka, you can have a fractional home, which is like a timeshare with ownership of the underlying property. Now the only thing is you can only it's usually around 10 to 12 people per property, and there's usage involved as well. And in 2019, I made a big claim: we're going to democratize real estate investment in India. And it was basically democratizing second home ownership. Only the rich people in India could afford to have second homes. So my reason for starting the company was, if you are in Delhi and you're sitting at a table and some rich guy says, I've got this villa in Goa and I've got this farmhouse in Shimla, and then you are there and you're just like, okay, I can't afford this. And then with FOHO, now it's as being a fraction, you could afford it. So we truly thought this was democratization. Anybody can now sit at the dinner table and boast that, yes, we own a villa in Goa or somewhere like that. But come 2021, I ran into a gentleman by the name of Roshan De Silva, who runs a company called Trip Villas. Trip Villas is Asia's largest villa and holiday home management company. You can check out tripvillas.com. They also they've been around for around 11 years. They have funding from one of their investors is the Singapore Sovereign Fund. So they've been around, and Roshan kind of heard of FOHO, and he kind of reached out to me and said, that he was thinking of something on the same lines, and we got talking, and then one thing led to another, and then we realized there's a lot we can do. And by the way, Roshan is from IIT Bombay, which is those of you know, one of the premier engineering institutes in India. So we got talking, and then we said there's a lot of synergy with things that we do, and that's how we decided to take our legacy FOHO business, which by the way was doing okay. It was in India and in Sri Lanka, and we said, how do we get the blockchain involved? How do we get possibly crypto involved? How do we get all of that? And that's the genesis of FOHO coin. So I'll get to a little bit of a presentation. I was hoping, Roshan could make it as well. It's like 5 a.m. in India, so he's possibly, not awake as yet, but we'll give him some time, and I think he will make it. So can you guys see my screen?
Yeah, we can. Thank you.
Thank you. So I'm going to just get on present mode. So there you go. So FOHO coin, the future of shared real estate. Right? It's a quite a audacious statement, but I'm going to go ahead and try to prove to you that it is definitely going to be the future of shared real estate. So what does it involve? NFT. Those of you who've been following this, non-fungible tokens, escrow, blockchain, staking, sponsor, buyer, seller, all of that stuff that you've got to think you've heard of in the blockchain real estate space. Democratizing the real estate space, so that is our goal, so that anybody can buy property anywhere in the world. So you don't need to be rich, and you don't need to be famous to own property in New York, to own property in Hawaii, in one of the most fancy places in the world. You could possibly do that, but obviously you're going to be owning a fraction. So the FOHO ecosystem is made up of four different components. The first one is FOHO coin, which is the lifeblood of the FOHO ecosystem. You've got to buy FOHO coin first to get into the FOHO ecosystem. So I give the example of a village fair, right? You got a fair, or since we're a lot of our investors, and we're listing on an Indian stock exchange, there's something called as a mela. A mela is like a village fair in India. When you go to a mela, at the gate, you have somebody give you some coupons, right? You can buy some coupons. So these coupons, once you go in, you can use those coupons to get on the Ferris wheel, to play games, to get some food. So all of those coupons lets you do. So FOHO coin are like those coupons. It's a utility token that lets you get in and enter the FOHO ecosystem and leverage the FOHO ecosystem. So using the FOHO coin, you now have access to FOHO HAUS. FOHO HAUS is a blockchain-based residential real estate marketplace. Think of this like realtor.com, realtor.ca for fractional properties, right? So absolutely, you could have fractional properties in New York, in Los Angeles, in San Francisco, Vancouver, Whistler, all of these fractional listed there. You can now with realtor.com, realtor.ca, because they're bigger portions, you can't really go and buy right away. You need to have the brokers, you have to go through the lawyers, you got to go a bunch of things. We're going to simplify this. You could actually buy on FOHO.house. If you're already pre-registered, you're already whitelisted, you could possibly through a click buy a fraction of a property in New York or wherever. So that's the ease with which you can buy and sell. So that's FOHO.house. Let's come to FOHO.club last. Go to the right, and that's FOHO.work, which is exactly similar to FOHO.house, except that it is for commercial properties. So basically, it is an office space in New York, a commercial warehouse in Mississauga, which is a city on the outskirts of Toronto, or a rubber plantation in Kerala, India. It could be anything. Now, so essentially, you could put on. Now, you might ask, and some of you might know the rules. Foreigners cannot buy agricultural property in India. So basically, that's where the platform comes in. The platform knows you, Mahendra, you, Sanjay, you're a citizen of this country. So you will not have access. You cannot buy this property. So it would disallow you from buying that property. So those are checks and balances that are already present in the system. And coming to the one right in the middle, so FOHO.club. Now, FOHO.club is all about usage. FOHO.house and FOHO.work is about ownership, fractional ownership. Now, fractional usage, some of you may ask, what is fractional usage? Basically, if I'll give you an example. I live in Toronto, Canada, and my daughter lives and studies in Montreal. Now, a bunch of people from Toronto have either business interests in Montreal, or they have kids that study in Montreal, and they travel to Montreal very often. And rather than staying in a hotel or an Airbnb, they can say, you know what, why don't we rent an apartment, a fancy apartment in Montreal for 1 year? So we created a club on FOHO.club, and we see, are they like-minded people that might join us? And then here are the rules of the club. Everybody puts in the money, and then you each of you gets some nights free, or you pay some nominal amount for each night that you stay. If you don't stay, there is one guy that becomes the lead, and that person then puts it on to Airbnb. Now you might ask, why would one guy want to become the lead? Because there is an incentive for them. The person who is the lead can also, as part of the blockchain, put it written right in the smart contract that they will take 20% of the keep of at the end of the year. So that's how a club gets formed. People go in, go out, everything's on the blockchain, the rent's paid. So everything, that's basically how the transparency and the power of the blockchain will be leveraged. And it is quite decentralized. Every club is kind of run by the club. Every property that's on FOHO.work or on FOHO.house is run by that collective. If more than 51% decides, you know what, the apartment on Fifth Avenue in New York is now from 2 million, we think it's worth 4 million. We might as well get out of this and sell it. They can put it to vote, and all of that happens on the blockchain. And that's why we're leveraging the blockchain, and we'll get into a little more detail about that. So next, obviously, addressing today's problems of real estate, investing in real estate is expensive. Obviously, there's a very small percentage of the population of the world own real estate. Even smaller percentage own investment real estate, right? So we're looking at really democratizing this, allowing anybody, with not a lot of means to be able to participate in the real estate marketplace. Owning a home can be stressful, and that's exactly where our partnership with Trippillers, the management aspect of it comes in. Or and again, it is not exclusive to Trippillers. You can have any management company come in each of the geographies. We would build a roster of management companies that would be available. And today in most geographies, there is already established management companies get and manage this. Due diligence and paperwork. Again, those of you who have probably bought property in North America or in other parts of the world, there's a lot of paperwork still involved. I mean, they finally moved to doing digital signatures, but until recently, you actually had to sign on paper. So so some of that part still continues, but the platform would do that, and you as a fractional owner would just go in and out. And we follow like a REIT trust model. So you're on the blockchain as the owners change. The blockchain is the ledger for the shareholder list for the trust as well. And then again, as we said, you're democratizing geographical. You can have property investments, which is not possible for you today. If you own a house, and if, let's say, for some reason that geographical region goes down, you're probably not going to be able to kind of offset that by diversification. But with fractional ownership, you can diversify a portfolio very easily across different geographies. So some of the FOHO.house, these are the legacy FOHO.house properties that we already had. These were the 10 to 12 fractions ones. Some of those we're going to be moving onto the newer platform. So Dusit Thani, Sri Lanka, Dusit Thani is a resort, a Thai resort chain, and that's one of their flagship properties in Sri Lanka. Those of you who've been to Sri Lanka, this is on the south, close to Mirissa. It's called Balapitia. Really, really beautiful, south of Colombo. Aldeia de Goa is one of our properties in India. So those are things that we already have and are available. So the ask, okay, so we've got 3 asks here. One is, if you're for private sale investor, the minimum is 25,000 US dollars. It's really attractive for early investors. So between 25 and 50,000, you get a 10% bonus, extra coins. Between 50,000 and 100,000, you get 15%, and so on. And more than 500,000, you get 30% bonus. So this is a bonus. And now, if you get these bonus shares, there is a 25% release, right away, and the 75% would be released after 3 months. So that is because you're getting free shares, free tokens. There's a little bit of a holding period there. So this is the ask for strategic partners by invitation only, and this is where Mahindra, full disclosure, is one of our potential strategic partners, and so this is also we're looking at getting people here that are already property developers, real estate agents, large real estate agents. We're talking to Tata Housing in India, Damac in Dubai, Tridel in Canada. So our first 3 geographies that we're going to be going after is India, Sri Lanka, and Canada, and after which we're definitely going around the world. So that was it. And then obviously, as an IEO public investor, the IEO opens on 27 July. We might have a few changes in the because a couple of our advisors have told us that it is not normal to have a IEO, unlike an IPO, to be open for that long. So we're looking at possibly shortening it. But I must say we're quite happy with how the private placements have gone. But the trading will start on the 15th of August. Those of you who know a little bit about the history of India, Indian Independence Day is the 15th of August. So we're timing this with India Independence Day, which is basically, if India got independence, we're hoping this is the independence of the freedom to people to invest in real estate globally. So we're hoping to make that sync up with Indian Independence Day. So if you're an IU investor, all you got to do is get a BitBNS account. BitBNS is the exchange at which we'll be launching. There's also an IDO, which is through the decentralized ascent BitBNS, and on 15th August we'll also be on Uniswap, which is another IDO thing where you can swap any currency to any crypto to FOHO. So how do you go about doing it? Go to fohocoin.com, email either Roshan or me, enter your details, get whitelisted on BitBNS, KYC. It's a little bit about tokenomics here. The total supply is around a billion coins. We have right now our initial offering is 85 million. That which is 8.5%. And as you can see, initially a lot of the tokens are going to, on the right side is going towards sales and partnerships, technology, operations, legal, public relations, advertising, and this is for the 3 geographies of India, Sri Lanka, and Canada. And I will show you a little bit about, okay, this is the sales distribution. This is how we're getting the 85 million. So around private sale is of 40 million things. So around the bulk of it is through private sale. The bid BNS Ascent IDO is going to be around 10%, and the strategic sale where we're getting actual investors to invest in it is around 44%. So that rounds up our how we're getting the money coming in. So the forecast schedule, this is all the way towards the end. So this is in the next 4 years. Not 4 years, is around 3.5 years. So we start off the beginning at month 0, and that's how we go on to as you can see, a lot of the tokens, if you go to most of the other places, the team tokens, we're getting a lot of our tokens only in the end, which is a very conservative way of operating. As I said, most of the businesses I operate is in a very long-term view. So if you look at the purple thing, that is the team thing. Primarily, it's token sales, and as we said, token sales, that is all going into cash. So that is so the token is going to be backed by cash. So every offer that we do is going to have a significant cash component. So when people say, is your currency backed by gold, is our currency is actually going to be backed quite a bit by real hard cash. So in that sense, I think we're quite people in the crypto world kind of talk about the bear phase and the bearish market and stuff like that. I think we have enough fundamental strength in the way the tokenomics is designed to withstand some of those bear things. Because if you're and those of you who have some background in accounting and finance, if our book value of cash is higher than the value of the coin, there's going to be value investors that could possibly jump in. So it could be, it's unheard of a value investing crypto, but it's potentially possible in the if some of those things happen. So some of the milestones, as I said, we started in 2019. So FOHO, and January 2021 is we ran into AAAs, and March 2021 we create FOHO Holdings. And the future roadmap, the ICO closure, acquisition of portfolio properties. So this is, I think, a little bit, needs to be changed a little bit, but I think this is slightly old, but we are definitely now it's moved to June. And all of this is before the end of the year, we're also going to be launching on one other major, crypto exchange at least. So also the FOHO coin itself would be used on other sites like AAAs. Starting almost immediately after we go live, we'll be using FOHO coin as a currency as well. So the pilot, as I mentioned, is India, Canada, Sri Lanka, and these are some of the other markets that we're planning to go after, and some of these are the other rounds of coins that will be launched. As you can see, the big markets that we want to go after are India, Europe, and North America, and those also require the most money. As some of you know, real estate is a state or a province subject. So if I take the example of Canada, Ontario has different rules. So does Quebec. So does British Columbia. So we've got to go at this state by state or province by province. When we look at it today at the world, we might think of this as a huge undertaking, but we get confidence from the way people like Airbnb and Uber went about doing it. they had it even more difficult than us. They had to go at it city by city, because a lot of the rules for either short-term housing or for the taxi service are very city specific. So they had it harder than us, and so we find that we're confident that we should be able to do that. So with that, a little bit about the background of the founders. That's me on the left there. As some of you joined early, I gave you some of my background. Roshan on the right is a leader, global leader in vacation property rental, and he's from IIT Bombay, and worked on management of property, holiday homes. They have already managing properties across the world, so something that we think can definitely be leveraged. A board of advisors, Chandan Kumar, again, IIT Kharagpur, and runs an algorithmic trading agency. He's a consultant with BNS, and he's on our advisory. Jason Fernandez is a serial entrepreneur. He has invented the world's first internet-based DVR, and is a well-known personality in the cryptocurrency space. And yet Floyd Tavares, who's a marketeer and on our advisory as well. So that, I think, rounds up what FOHO is, and so now I'm going to just open this up to questions. There's one attendee, Prashant Jain. I'm going to make you a panelist as well, so that we can just chat easily. Prashant, are you on? Okay, Prashant's on as well. So please feel free to ask any questions. You can raise your hands, or just switch on your cameras, or whatever you feel comfortable doing. So any questions, Sanjay, Laura?
Yeah, I have a question, Vijay.
Yes.
Now, a great concept, of course. My first question is, who's your benchmark competitor? Because apparently there are almost around 220 to 250 various cryptos which are already listed on different wallets. Mm-hmm. So in that particular space, who's your benchmark competitor, basically coming closer to you on the real estate side of it?
Okay, so in the real estate side, everybody has a different take on this. There's a company called Realty in the US, but somebody with the breadth of vision of what we want to do, and with a global view of this, I think there's not many players right now, with doing what we're attempting to do. Some of these are only NFT only, things. So basically, they're also, some of these places are curating. They are in the business of selling property. Even in Canada, there's one or two different companies. So they're curating properties and bringing to people and saying, here's how you can invest in these, and here we've got better yield. Some of them are saying, we've got but from a pure marketplace, we want to make this like Airbnb. We want people to be able to bring in their own properties. We want to build an ecosystem that starts running on its own. So in that sense, from a grandeur of vision, if I may use that term, I think we're out there. We could be stupid and but we're brave for sure. So we're definitely trying to go for the bigger sense, and obviously we will have to get there step by step. But people are doing bits and pieces of this. But from a entire marketplace where you could potentially bring a property yourself, you can bring your own house onto this, right? And if you're saying, I want to get out of owning my own home, but I want to stay 20% invested, I can sell 80% of the home, and you can keep 20, but you either have to pay market rate at that time, or you have to move out. So the other part here is ownership and usage can be divided. So in that sense, I think we're quite different in terms of what some of the other people are. There's you can start a coin. You can say the Waldorf Astoria in New York can have its own coin. You can say the Waldorf coin, and you make the Waldorf Astoria an FT and make it into fractions. So you can have a coin of its own. But here is the beauty of our platform. The Waldorf Astoria does not need to have its own platform. They can bring the Waldorf Astoria onto the FOHO.work and list it. We're looking at a day at which REITs can run on our platform, right? So we're in the technology business. People can run businesses on our platform. So that's, I think, the where we think this can go with. So we're kind of a little different in that view. Obviously, there is a little grandeur in our thing, but we're going to go at it step by step. But the dots will catch up. I mean, when Uber started up, who would have thought they would have Uber Eats and Uber delivery and all of that different stuff. I don't know if I answered your question, Sanjay.
No, I agree. And is it okay to ask another one, or
Yeah,
somebody else?
please.
Well, obviously, I appreciate the answer which you have given, and I understand from that perspective that yes, you're targeting and you're actually trying to get a different strata where you become yourself as an aggregator and a platform where everybody else can come on and represent their properties on your board, which is great. Now, when that was my understanding on the monetization side of it, very simple. If I want to come with $100,000 investment today, my first question as an investor is definitely I'm looking into that. Okay, how do I monetize? I understand that the monetization may happen based on what I'm supposed to be earning as a bonus in terms of the rental itself, which is happening. The second could be that, okay, depending on the cryptocurrency itself, how the scalability happens on the price itself, because it's like a stock market. So those two are for sure. But on the hindsight of it, yes, I'm not a technology guy like you. I'm sure you know that. But on the hindsight of it, my thought process does go that, okay, what happens tomorrow if one of those major chains who already have representations all around the world in terms of property rentals or villas, and tomorrow if they want to come with a service in terms of offering similar to you with a crypto, and where does that lead to FOHO itself? That was of course one of the $1 million questions.
Very good question. Okay,
yeah.
This is Hilton and all those guys.
Absolutely.
What can they take on Airbnb? Okay, would you see they are already entrenched? They're not a platform. They have a vested interest in pushing the Hilton brand, right? So the Hilton. So we as a neutral platform is always going to be be the port of call for people not wanting to get on one of these things. So this is the whole part of when people talk about the sharing economy of the world and decentralization. This is truly where it is going to be decentralized. Thanks to the blockchain, you can have people bringing their own properties on board. You've got transparency, you've got the wisdom of the crowds, you got people with Hilton, you've got now for every Hilton you can have some kind of a point system, and people can rate them and whatever. But here, each of your like Airbnb, your hosts get rated. So in that sense, anybody that's sponsoring properties and for usage, so there is going to be a whole ecosystem that's built around this that we think is going to be very powerful. And I think the economy of the future is going to be decentralized. The monolithic companies of the world are going to have to figure out that it is going to work. There's going to be a segment they're going to work. But I don't think Uber is afraid of a very large taxi company coming and taking them over. Right? It's not going to work. It has not worked anywhere. So aggregating multiple people and providing, people the ability to engage on their own without, real estate agents, without whatever. I think that's I think key, we're definitely betting that is the way the world is going to. The sharing economy of the future is definitely going to have, as little intermediaries as possible. Look at the power of Facebook marketplace or some of these places, right? People are doing business with each other, and it's basically, there is a system, there is, some way in which people are building trust in the system, and this way with blockchain it's even more trust and there's a lot of transparency. But yeah, so hopefully that answers your question, but I don't see that as a problem.
No, I mean, look, these are, of course, from the investor's perspective, these are all the thoughts and processes in. But
Yeah.
If anybody else is willing to ask a question, I don't want to be the
Sure.
hogger of the
Yes,
entire.
Laura, you have your hand up, so can.
Yeah, hi, thank you so much. I appreciate being here and you doing this. I do have a couple of questions. I guess to your point, the brands, first of all, like Hilton or Marriott, or that they're owned a lot of times by individual developers that are just licensing or managing, they have their management contracts.
Yes.
I do have a question pertaining to that. What I do like about this that seems different from realty or stake is that you're not actually going out and purchasing the properties and then fractionalizing or tokenizing them.
Exactly.
You are
Yes.
enlisting, which I do like that a lot. Can you walk me through how let's just say, obviously you can do this for different types of product, but if you're speaking to commercial, and let's say you are talking to a developer that has a rental product, whether it be a hotel product or maybe even a residential rental product, they bring that onto your platform. Can you kind of walk me through what happens from there?
Absolutely. Let's take that example of the one of those Hilton things itself, right? So let's say somebody wants to, and this is almost like some people, it's almost like a Kickstarter for real estate. So you want to get involved, and you could potentially, you're the lead investor, right? Say you say, I want to go after this property. I want to, let's say there's a Hilton in Phoenix, Arizona, and I want to bring that property onto FOHO.work. I bring it to FOHO.work. Now in FOHO.work, we have some rules. We have somebody called as one is a seller, one is a sponsor. So you've got to get a sponsor who's somebody that's already in the ecosystem, very, very similar to somebody that's like a broker in a stock exchange. You need to have somebody that has some skin in the game, and the broker then says, okay, and the broker, what we call a sponsor, says, I'm going to sponsor this property. So the sponsor puts 10% of the value of the property. The sponsor has to stake. So in FOHO coins, so that has to be staked for a minimum of 12 months. It's staked, after which the property goes into due diligence. Once it goes into due diligence, and once it passes due diligence, there's once some preliminary due diligence, the property then is open for investment. So it's open for initial investment, almost like another IPO, only for that property. So let's say for a period of a month, 2 months, or 3 months, we keep that open, and we say, since somebody's put in 10%, the minimum we need is 90%. We need 90% to come in from outside, because the last 10% can be used to cover that up. Or the sponsor or the seller says the last 10%, or the last 20%, they will cover in. So which means the close of the deal would be at 70 or 80 or whatever. Okay, so they open it up, it's fractionalized, people come in, and you've got to write your investment thesis, which means what is going to be the yield. You got to put in all the financials. You got to make that available to wannabe investors to look at it. They look at it. They go in there. They invest. in the fractions, let's say for hypothetically, it's a $6 million hotel, or let's say it's a $10 million hotel. A $10 million hotel in 10,000 fractions is a $1,000 each. So $1,000, somebody says, I'm going to buy it, and people just go buy fractions, and we reach the 70%, and then the seller and the sponsor says they'll take the remaining 30. The sale closes. Once the sale closes, it goes into a little more due diligence in terms of the legal aspects of some of it, and then it actually goes into an actual sale, wherein we have the equivalent of a trust, like a REIT. A trust then buys this property. The property then transfers to the trust, and the trust then has all these people that bought as shareholders of the trust. And then through a blockchain model, the management of the property is either done by the person, whoever is going to be managing it, or a management group. The yield is either given, the returns are either paid at the end of every month. And how do we make money, Sanjay? FOHO takes a 10% cut on the property. So it's quite a significant cut that we take off the deal. Okay, so our take on this is, since it's fractionalized, we're doing a lot of work in terms of in marketing the property, making it known. So in that sense, so if it's a $10 million property, we make $1 million. If it's $1 million property, we make $100,000. Now, the next part of this is every month on revenue on our top line, we take out 25% and we buy back tokens and we burn them. It's almost like Warren Buffett and Berkshire Hathaway doing a buyback, right? So we do a buyback and we do a burn. So we take out those tokens. So the token value also starts going up, but we make money as well. So,
And
so I think, I don't know.
I'm sorry. Your stake is liquid, or it's in equity? Like, are you when you say 100,000, is that you own that portion?
No, I'm sorry. What? No. When you take it, you have to, in the platform. Okay, the sponsor. Let's say the platform. Let's say the hotel is worth 10 million, right? So since it is worth 10 million, the sponsor has to have some skin in the game. You can't just put properties in there and we will go and get people in. So you've got to have some skin in the game yourself. So our minimum sponsor, the token amount that the sponsor has to stake is 10%. Now, so the sponsor has to first buy 10% of the value of the property in FOHO coins and stake it.
And can that sponsor be the owner of the property?
Could be the owner of the property as well. Yes, good point there. But for that, there are some standards for a sponsor. That's why we have a lot of the people that we want upfront to join us as strategic partners. They would be people that we would see them as being sponsors. And if you ask me, we would see commercial real estate agents being sponsors. We would see some of the big players being sponsors themselves. Absolutely. But you could have smaller sellers that might not want to be sponsors, so they would have to get sponsors to help them.
Right. And how are you scaling this?
So again, we're scaling this by doing it a step at a time, and as we go along, we're going to be raising funds by new rounds of coin release, and that would be the way of scaling it.
And what's your most desirable target?
When you say target, is that a geography or is that
no, just more so product, I think.
Okay, we think it is going to be just residential would be what would really get people's interest, but in terms of deals, I think it would be commercial. Would be where the action would be, where the bulk of in terms of numbers, I think it would be commercial. And I'll give an example. Just warehouse space, right? Warehouse space. You get a warehouse in Phoenix, Arizona, Mumbai, or Pune, India, and you rent it out to Amazon, right? It's a great deal, and good yield. I'll give you another example. Cell phone towers in India. Cell phone towers today. If you got to play in that cell phone tower business, you got to be a big pension fund or something like that. But guess what? People could just buy one cell phone tower, and it yields a lot of money. Another one example I'll give you is, and this is because we're looking at the India market right now. Bank branches, banks with ATMs, right? If you have ATMs and branches, and it's not ATMs in prime locations yield a lot of money. It's unbelievable. So if you get, in a mall you got 5 ATMs, you could potentially just have that as an asset, and so it lends itself to a lot of things.
Wow, that's so fascinating. Thank you so much. I'm in South Florida in the US, so I would love to connect with you at some point.
Absolutely. I will send my email here in the chat. So if those of you who are, and please let people know, and we're looking for strategic investors, partners, and it's just a matter of time. We will be in the US. We're looking for people who also, participate, right? I mean, and get your homes, buy stuff. Hang in there, and we got some more questions. Prashant?
Yeah, Vijay, first of all, thank
Prashant?
you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Yeah, first of all, thank you. I think an exciting idea to hear that. And I think we don't know so closely, but we connected earlier when I was at Loblaw Shopper. So some of your example resonated me. So
Okay,
quick
yes,
questions,
yes.
and I have two questions. One is how the whole legal aspects or the compliance aspects works in terms of sharing this when you are really signing the contract, etc. And probably technology
which
perspective. Like if you have one property and you are having, let's say, 10,000 contracts in blockchain as opposed to 10, 15 in traditional way. What are the legal complications or compliance, and how you are handling that? That's question number one. And question number two is in terms of any strategic partnership, anything, are you also open not only from investment perspective, also as a additional advisor who can bring more value to your concept?
Absolutely. We're always open to those things. Let me take the first question first. So let's say on the sale deed, or on the registry, the property registry, you will only have the trust that is representing the property, right? So there'll be only a trust. So there'll be only one name of the trust in the legal documents, right? So there's not going to be, so from the blockchain on an ongoing basis, like let's say you buy Apple stock, right? You buy Apple stock today. When you buy Apple stock on the Apple share registry, at some point, they will send the information from wherever you buy it from on the NASDAQ or NYSE. There is your share registry information says you now, Prashant Jain own 100 Apple stock. They will send that to the Apple share registry. You are now an owner. Let's say the dividend payment date for Apple is July 25th. So if you buy stock on July 24th, and if that your name gets converted, you get the dividend, right? So very similar to that, from the blockchain, as you buy and sell, we would have the blockchain would convert to our share registry, right? And so when it comes to the trust, share registry, we would make sure that whoever is on that point of time, if that's when the yield is paid, they would get their thing. If not, they would not, right? So everything would be based on the similar concept how stock market operates. So none of these, the 10,000 people will never be on a land transfer document, or they will never be on any of that. So that document only will have the name of the trust on it. So does that answer your first question?
Yeah, it does. It does. Thank you.
Okay. So the second part of it, absolutely. I mean, we can talk about that separately, but if you have any specific skills that you can bring to the table, we're looking for partnerships. We're looking at how we can take this. We're definitely looking at, how can we make this as widespread as possible? How can we get, in particular geographies, how do we get, either people to buy or people to bring properties? All of those things is definitely true. We're also looking at people who can bring some more strategic investors, all of the above. So if you the specific areas that you can, I just give my email address in there. Please do let us know. I will, it will be really, interested in speaking more as well.
Vijay,
Sure.
can I ask another question?
Sure. Yeah, Prashant, are you done?
Yeah, I'm done. Maybe have one interesting, maybe in Canadian market, I think we all understand
Yes.
when the real, and it's happening right now, right? The market is really good in the real estate and all, and every realtor is like making money like a CEO, a kind of a style. And probably this will disrupt if it is going in the right direction. This whole real estate commission, or I would say real estate mafia, will be affected by this concept. How do you deal with that competition?
Okay, so we don't want to break the mafia. We're willing to pay them 2% ourselves. Okay, so so our model here is, I don't think we need to fight them. We're saying if they're selling full properties, let them go start selling fractions, right? Why not? Let them sell fractions, if they want to, right? You as an end user have the option of bypassing them. But we could, the way I look at this is like today, if you're buying stock, right? I do my own portfolio management. I buy and sell stock myself. But you could also have an investment advisor who says, buy 10 Apple, buy 2 Alphabet, buy 10 Suncor, right? So you could have investment advisors that come in that could be the new real estate guys. They can some of those guys can morph into this and say, buy 5,000 in a condo in Tel Aviv, buy something in Mexico City, buy something somewhere else. So there could be a new breed, not just, there will have to be a new breed of people that will know this, and they can help, and they can still get paid for doing that. The platform can pay them as well.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, Sanjay, you can ask your question.
Thanks, and please go to our website, and there is a light paper for market participants. It gives you a detail about what market participants can do and what is the incentives and stuff like that as well. So there's a lot of thought that has gone into this. I will just send a link for that. Okay, just 1 second. Okay, yeah, go ahead. As I do that, please go ahead, Sanjay.
Well, I think you raised a very important point when you spoke to Prashant. I guess now we know what is happening now in the near future. Robinhood is going with IPO. Probably Robinhood is exactly the disruptor, the way you're trying to do with the fractional share ownership on the stock side of it. And this is the way I look at it, what you're doing from the real estate side of it as well, from your portfolio side of it. So it'll be interesting to see whether when Robinhood becomes that in terms of fractional share ownership, which is going to be with the IPO, whether it's going to allow all the major other people also to come and trade on that and then sell Robinhood as a fractional share ownership. It's going to be interesting how things work out. My question is very simple, Vijay. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, so I was just saying, I don't think any of us know everything. Okay.
Sure.
We'll have to figure this out. I mean, we think we've got a leg up on a lot of people on this one.
Yeah.
We're ahead of the game. We've got a great team. We understand the business. We understand finance. We understand technology. We understand real estate. So I think we've got a great team, and I think we'll get very well capitalized as well now. And I think unless we give it a shot and try it, we never know. But from looking at what some of our competitors are doing, I think we're way ahead.
Okay, my other question, Vijay, was very specific because you also raised a very important point in the initial presentation when you specified that you are backing this up with actual cash flow. So when it comes down to the current shareholders who are on the board, for example, what side of market cap are we talking about to begin with when it comes down to that particular question?
No. When we say we cash, this cash that we're raising, right? So the cash that we're raising, see, most the cash that we're raising is all going into, see, most cryptocurrencies. The cash that they raise is going to pay the team and everything. A lot of our stuff is actually held in cash. It is held in cash in the ecosystem itself. So it is backed. So a lot of the stuff is not being used. It is. So as we go along, we're building cash in the system itself. So right now, so that is what I meant by it is backed by cash. So it is not backed by like a sovereign guarantee or anything like that. It's not that we are backing it. That was not the intention of what I said.
Oh, okay. So I probably got it differently.
So we're not issuing stock. If you look at some of the our competitors, or any crypto thing, more than 50% is issued to the team itself.
Correct. You're right. And that's that's the reason where I'm coming from with the question, in fact.
Yes.
So thanks for clarifying that. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think, thank you, Vijay. Thanks for the lovely presentation. A lot of take back and then probably to think about, and come back to you soon.
Yeah. Thank you. And anybody else, we have somebody else join as well. I will just promote Prakash to panelists as well.
Yeah.
Vijay, which
Laura, go ahead.
which platform did you say you were built on?
We're on Ethereum.
Ethereum. Okay.
ERC20. Yeah.
Got it.
ERC20 platform. Yeah. Token. But again, ERC20 is our main FOHO coin. But as we go to the properties, we are looking at level 2 blockchains as well, because with Ethereum there's also quite a bit of cost in per transaction as well. So so we're open to, we're not wedded to Ethereum, but except for the FOHO, the initial FOHO, the FOHO coin itself. But as we start bringing properties on board, we would be looking at other platforms as well, other blockchains as well.
Got it. And you can make that transition.
Yes. Yeah. No. But we would see those coins would be different, right? So those are once you use the FOHO coin to buy 1/10,000 of the Hilton in Phoenix, Arizona, that can be a different token. That token doesn't have to be a FOHO coin. That can be anything else.
Got it. And you said your coins are pegged to fiat.
They are pegged to fiat or USDT or yeah.
I love what you're doing.
So Laura, we need backers, we need friends in high places. We need please follow us on all social media, and please I love to connect with you, and please find me on LinkedIn.
I will certainly reach out. I've been in the development space for 20 years. I'm in the Miami market, Palm Beach market, and this market, as you know, is very forward thinking. They are when it comes to this space, they're very forward thinking. So yeah, I would love to connect with you outside. I will email you and we could connect.
Yes, and if we can get a couple of big names, to join us or even back us, or if you get some celebrities, I'm sure this Palm Beach has many.
Yeah.
We can work out something for them.
Right. That sounds great. I will certainly reach out to you.
Thank you. Thanks, Laura. And thanks, everybody. I think, we had somebody else join in. Prashant, Prakash, do you have any questions? Okay, if nothing, please feel free to reach out to me, connect with me. LinkedIn is good. Mahindra, anything you want to add? You're now part of the team as well. So anything you want to say?
Yeah, well, thank you very much, everybody. What I would say is, in communications and presentations, you need to be a greater clarity and need to be provided, which is what is timeshare, what is fractional ownership, and what is a FOHO coin. There's subtle differences, but they're very important differences. Okay, just as an example, I've got a lot of experience with fractional ownerships, and I'm also involved in some timeshare and fractional as a developer and also as an owner. The one example I would give you is with a timeshare, you're buying time. With fractional ownership, you own a piece of a property at a particular time during the year. It's more closer to ownership of real estate. Okay, and the structure, the usage, access, all of that, there's some commonalities between the two, timeshare and fractional. But in my experience, fractional ownership interests hold far greater value than, let's say, timeshare. Timeshare becomes commoditized. Okay, yeah, you're part of a timeshare of a larger program or company, but you don't really own anything. I mean, theoretically you do, but you don't really, doesn't have that sense of ownership, and therefore the secondary market for timeshares is a fraction of the original price. So, you have to make that fine distinction. That's one comment I would make. The other comment I would make is also, are you, if this is partial home ownership, I mean, it's not, that's the way I look at it. And when you've got partial ownership of real estate, you have the option of using it personally or renting it out, right? Okay. So I think when you present this as an investment, you got to highlight, or you got to at some point disclose, okay, if I'm an investor, do I have rights to occupy? Okay.
No, you don't. In this particular case, we're keeping the usage and ownership separate. Okay, so this is the key difference. So ownership, so we want to keep it separate because that muddies the waters. Okay, so that makes it so you're either an investor or and you can join a club where you can then where multiple people join up and can then use that rental property. But the ownership, the ownership collective is only ownership driven. There is no usage, so there is no trade-off there, because otherwise what happens is if you use it and one of them don't use it, the value, how much value did you have a trade value for usage as well. So we want to keep it pure from a ownership standpoint. Every owner for every fraction has the same rights to yield, has the same rights to ownership, and the usage model is kept in the club model, which is so that we've kind of kept it different. So
yeah, I get it, Vijay. The only comment I would make as an investor, I want some opportunity to be a club member. Okay? Right?
To do what again, Mahindra?
Yeah, some opportunity to be a club member. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I want access. It's listen, if I invested in this property, I'm a part owner of this property, you know, when it's available, subject to availability and my timing, I'd like to stay there. Okay. And yeah, there's a separate cost for occupancy. Okay. But I'd like to do that. Okay. All you know, I'm looking at it the mindset of an investor. Okay. So now it may not be practical, it may not be possible. I get that. Okay. But I'm just, it's a thought that goes through my mind personally.
No, I absolutely, yeah, I get what you're saying. Yes, and I think you know, that's where you know, as people do this, they can then make that into a club, and they can do it as well. So you could have a club after a forwarded house sale. You can have a you know, that would be some something that you could bundle a you know, you could kind of have a bundle deal. It says once this closes, there's also a you know, it's almost like you know, you buy today, you buy a condo and you put it on rent almost immediately, right? Or so you can have somebody, you know, so something like that, where you know, you've got two of these going simultaneously. So absolutely, I think that's something that we can work out as well.
Okay. Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, folks. Thanks for making time, and really appreciate it on a Tuesday evening. I'm sure you all had you know, other things to do, but you made time for us. So really appreciate that.
Thank you, Vijay.
Thank you.
Appreciate. Thank you. Great presentation. Thank you. Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you.
Bye.
Have a nice one, guys. Bye.